Imagine me not being able to say what I wanted. What was the point of being famous? What was the point of having, millions of people love your music? What was the point of having a voice if you can't even use your own voice and connect it to your own opinions?
Yes.
That's where the disconnect happened. That's where the, quote, I think wrongly diagnosed, that's where the bipolarity is. I suffered from being lied to constantly by the people around me, by my management, by my ex-wife. And I believe those things can drive anyone to a point of maximum exhaustion. But I also believe that I'm extremely brilliant and I'm here to make the world a better place. And I'm tired of the left media trying to pick on me. And y'all picked on me enough, and y'all finally touched the person that's not gonna stand, that's not gonna take it anymore. We don't need to teach anything that is subjective. Any forced subjective information is just to weaken and indoctrinate our species. And that's what schools do now. We are here, we are one species, we are one race, we're here, and it's time, and the leadership is changing because you have Elon as a leader, Ye as a leader, and we're the top leaders. We're more influential than the presidents.
Is that why he seems to be so out of control?
You're not gonna push on him more.
Right.
With us, once our brain gets to a point of spraining, people do everything to make it worse.
With Katt Williams' recent overload of revelations, all the elite names in Hollywood are running for their lives and choosing to stay in their safe death bunkers. You heard that right.
All of these big deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is. TG Jakes, any of them. All lies will be exposed. That's all. And anyone who takes that the wrong way, know why they take it the wrong way. The truth is the light. Because in 30 years, I've done nothing but collect information, knowledge, and your secrets. So if you and a man was in a corner doing something you wasn't supposed to be doing...
You will tell it?
No, somebody come to tell me.
Okay.
I gather that, I value that, I'll pay for that. Come, tell me. I know so many things I should know, and they all know it. They all know it. Why? Because you don't make me the villain. Not the guy that raises black children and ain't never done a hard in his life and don't have no stories of doing nobody dirty. And they'll just go out and they'll lie. The industry doesn't mess with Katt because he didn't show up for the studio. No studios have ever said that. Look at my IMDb. It will show you that no studio has ever lost money with me on the script.
Now, out of all of his accusations, Williams seems to firmly believe that Kanye was misdiagnosed and mistreated by upper management in Hollywood, and that Ye's recent behavior was simply the choices that he made for himself, including choosing the Hollywood circle he initially did.
I suspect that we're pretty awful people if we say that somebody got a mental illness and then we watch what they do. If you say somebody got special needs, then why would you be watching them and holding them accountable like everybody else? Wouldn't you grade them on a curve? Wouldn't you go, whew, this guy? Because, I mean, what are we reacting to? What do you expect? The guy married a whore. Like, what?
Oh, Lord.
Like, I didn't mean it like that. I mean, married her because she was one. Not he didn't know. He understood that he wanted that. He courted that. That's what he wanted, to base his family on.
She got a good heart, though. I know what you're gonna say. Don't you say it, Katt. Don't you say it. I'm gonna move the conversation.
If what I'm saying is not correct, then how does she end up with Pete Davidson?
I mean, it happens all the time.
And what if you weren't even good enough for Pete and he leaves you?
The details will have you spiraling into confusion. So here's everything you need to know. Kanye West is no longer letting anyone control him.
My kids go to Sierra Canyon. It's a Jewish school that doesn't teach Christianity, these Christian kids. At Christmas time, They're teaching Kwanzaa to black kids. They say, hey, this is your Christmas. This is all indoctrination. This is all mind control. You gotta understand, like I don't believe I'm putting myself at risk because I think God uses me for a time like this. He put me in this situation and had y'all follow me from George Bush Don't Care to, you know, I had the best video to now. For some reason, y'all are interested. And they wanted to medicate me every day. You realize, like, they could have just switched to medication and I wouldn't be here. And on the news, they would have said it was because of a mental issue, right?
Yeah.
I ain't never been back to the hospital since 2015, but every time they say I'm crazy, it's just when I'm saying the truth. So what's the crazy part, really? What's the crazy part, really?
They can't scare you, they can't control you, they try to suppress you, but that's how they try to categorize.
They can't control me. You get what I'm saying? They can control Shaq. They can control Charles Barkley. They can control LeBron James. They can control Jay-Z and Beyonce.
But not you, man.
But they can't control me.
And, sounding really frustrated, according to Katt Williams, he doesn't understand what it is we want from the rapper formerly known as Kanye.
No, I don't support or villainize Kanye because I don't understand what it is we want from him. I don't know why we look at a basketball player and say, he didn't score no hockey goals this whole season. He don't play hockey. Kanye don't say nothing I can agree with. Okay. He was the weird guy in the beginning with the pink sweaters when we met him. Like, what do you think moving to a beat of your own drum? This dude started a church and kept cussing. Nobody in black church said nothing. You would have thought all the pastors would have came. You can't be no gospel artist. You just said that bitch. Nobody said nothing. Cause TD Jakes over there with P. Diddy. Like,
Come on, Katt.
Only the guy you had here has been upfront and honest and a man of God and humble and took the L's he had to take and didn't.
I did see it was trending though, but I ain't know. I ain't know why, Katt. I don't. Let me go to this question right here. This question.
All people that love the truth gotta be happy if the truth coming out and lies is getting exposed. That's just what time it is.
But why is the comedian insisting so much? Is it because even he was subjected to the same treatment? Well, that is true to some extent. Basically, in his latest yet really long interview, the legendary comedian, who has a packed tour schedule through at least May of this year, Williams was asked to comment on Ye from a distance, which led him to highlight the repeatedly shown awfulness of the rapper and how the narrative of him being crazy is being funded. Now, Williams does maintain that Ye was the weird guy in the beginning, so the events that have transpired in the years since he first gained notoriety shouldn't come as a surprise. Yet, Williams claims that Ye is not to blame for his alleged exclusion from the Hollywood industry. Rather, because West is putting his foot down, the higher-ups are the ones who are losing control over the artist. Meanwhile, Kanye West is also now talking openly about his battle with mental illness and how being pushed into treatment when he didn't need it and receiving a false diagnosis have driven him to the brink of emotional breakdown. Recently, in an interview on My Next Guest Needs, No Introduction with David Letterman, the rapper discussed receiving a bipolar disorder diagnosis 2 years ago and how that has forced his now ex-wife to walk out on him and take his kids away from him.
I wouldn't be able to explain that as much, just, because I'm not a doctor. I can just tell you what I'm feeling at the time. And I feel a heightened connection with the universe when I'm ramping up. It is a health issue. This is like a sprained brain, like having a sprained ankle. And if someone has a sprained ankle, you're not gonna push on him more.
This also came after he was taken on an involuntary psychiatric hold in November 2016. He discussed what happens to him during a manic episode and brought attention to the stigma attached to mental illness. The 41-year-old singer of Jesus Walks has also discussed the strong stigma that surrounds mental illness, stating, "People are allowed to say anything about it and discriminate in any way." He compared his bipolar illness to a damaged ankle, saying that if someone has a sprained ankle, you're not going to push on him more. Yet, he maintains that receiving a diagnosis has made Hollywood treat him quite differently, especially for his anti-Semitic remarks, ultimately blackballing him.
What's my bullshit?
Well, some of it I pointed out today, but I don't know you deeply enough.
What was the bullshit?
Jewish media, Jewish...
That's not bullshit. The bullshit is that the Jewish media won't admit.
Your dad was right. Your dad was right. The word you used, you weren't...
And I said it. You're not gonna make me say it 800 more times.
I don't know if it resonated, because you keep saying, like, the words...
Did it resonate to y'all that y'all ain't do nothing about it? And that all y'all want to do is have somebody apologize and sweep under the rug your bullshit that you've been doing the whole time. You on the same bullshit as the other people. So you're doing the same thing that the other, let's say media, because I'm not allowed to say, has done. So until somebody stands up,
Which is what, man?
I'm
trying to call you out in your bullshit, because I hope I'm somebody you can trust.
I don't can trust you.
Well, you should find people in your life you can trust.
Don't tell me what I should do. I'm not one of your BLM marchers.
With us, once our brain gets to a point of spraining, people do everything to make it worse, he said. They do everything possible. They got us to that point, and they do everything to make it worse. Not to mention, he used his experience staying in a mental hospital and said he received horrific treatment to highlight the make it worse argument. He claimed, they have this moment where they put you on the bed, and they handcuff you and separate you from everyone you know. I am so happy that I experienced myself, he declared, adding, so I can start by changing that moment. When you are in that state, you have to have someone you trust. It is cruel and primitive to do that. They love to write you off. They love to cut your sentences off halfway. What you say doesn't mean as much, West continued. Now, for those of you who are unaware, after suffering from sleep deprivation and dehydration leading up to a breakdown, West was admitted to UCLA Medical Center in 2016. Around that time, he had been on tour, and his outbursts on stage had been featured in national media. Of course, his tour was then postponed. Then again, in his 2018 album Ye, he revealed that he has bipolar disorder and went on to call it his superpower, but a few months later, he recanted the diagnosis, notably telling President Trump that the diagnosis was incorrect and that he was subjected to torment during his time in the hospital. Currently, as Williams was considering what West had done in the past, it seemed that he was drawing a comparison between the well-known singer and someone who was afflicted with a mental illness. During his podcast interview, Williams was asked about Kanye West, and honestly, the comedian did justice in telling the facts as they are. Williams didn't hold back as he started the discussion, pushing the notion that West had, in fact, been blackballed like the rest of us with his controversial opening comment. I suspect that we're pretty awful people if we say that somebody got a mental illness and then we watch what they do.
This guy. Because, I mean, what are we reacting to? What are we reacting to? You're the one that put him in a position where he thought he was God and could call himself Jesus. And you're the one told a guy that writes musical lyrics that he was a genius. Mm-hmm. You're the one that's like, so what?
Williams also expanded on this concept by questioning whether it is fair to assess individuals with special needs solely on the basis of their behavior, failing to consider the context of their circumstances. According to him, if you say somebody got special needs, then why would you be watching them and holding them accountable like everybody else? Wouldn't you grade them on a curve? Wouldn't you go, woo, this guy?
No, I don't support or villainize Kanye because I don't understand what it is we want from him. I don't know why we look at a basketball player and say, he didn't score no hockey goals this whole season. He don't play hockey.
Moving forward, the comedian revealed more. He elaborated on his analogy and spoke about the industry's driving forces and how they might have influenced West's public perception. Because really, to what are we responding? To what are we responding? It was because of you that he believed he was God and could go by the name Jesus. It was you who declared the man who writes song lyrics to be a genius. The comedian and entertainer has currently called out a lengthy number of other comedians and performers on the podcast, including Steve Harvey, Tiffany Haddish, Ludacris, Cedric the Entertainer, and many more. Yet, Katt Williams said that, of all of them, West deserves to be helped rather than being demonized. That's all for today. Make sure to share your thoughts in the comments below. For more updates, hit the bell icon.